National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's pray. Father, it seems fitting that we would pause before you at the beginning of this celebration of courage and sacrifice. After all, you know a bit about sacrifice. So, Lord, we thank you for those who have served our nation. Lord, we thank you for their courage and their sacrifice. I thank you personally that I did not find my father's name on the Vietnam Memorial Wall, but I know there are many who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Lord, thank you for their courage. Thank you for their heart. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
From the cities to the farmland, north, south, east, and west, from the Rockies to the ocean, Ain't America the best? Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your time, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? We all came here from somewhere. Lord, help us not forget that we're all in this together. Man, ain't America the best? Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your time, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? The lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that big Montana sky. Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your time, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful?
Welcome, Vets Crossing 2012. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight is all about welcoming you and thanking our veterans for their service to this great country. So thank you so much for your support. It is my honor and pleasure to be able to announce and introduce to you a true hero, American hero. He's a veteran of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Introducing Sergeant Major Jess Wise.
Thank you, Vicki. She embarrasses me like this all the time.
I do want you to talk about the photo behind us on the screen, if you can.
Oh.
Tell us where that was. In our opening video, we had that up. We'd love to hear the story behind that.
And that picture is of me as a buck sergeant and one of my fire team leaders, corporal by the name of Burkett. When that picture was taken, we thought we were invincible and that there was no way we'd ever get shot. We woke up to the fact 3 months later, and this was taken in June, and in September we were both wounded. So we're not bulletproof. But I would like to just say that I don't feel like a hero. I did what millions of other people have done for this country. And thank you for being here tonight. And I just want to say that I'm very proud to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to say that our last year's speaker, Major Dennis Ewing, is here, and I just wanted to say thank you to you and your family for coming and supporting us tonight. Did a great job last year. I'm going to let you introduce Jim Willis.
Okay. At this time, it gives me pleasure to introduce to you somebody who has everything to do with veterans. He spent 8 years in the Air Force and came out as a tech sergeant. And then for the next 32 years, he was in law enforcement, and he retired as a lieutenant colonel in Oregon State Police, and he has spent 9 years at the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Jim Willis.
Those of you who were in the military, and that's many of you out here tonight, know what I mean when I turn to that wonderful gentleman and say, "Thank you, Sergeant Major." That's what you better say to a Sergeant Major. Well, listen, on behalf of Governor John Kitzhaber and the men and women of the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs and Oregon's 327,000 veterans, I want to thank you for coming, and I want to thank these wonderful people for putting on this great program. Let's have a hand for them. They've done a wonderful job. You know, whenever I get together with my fellow veterans and their families and the guests that are with us tonight, I'm always struck by the fact that there's great loyalty to one's branch of service, to the extent that there's what we call inter-service rivalry. So we're going to get that out of the way right this minute. So here's how we're going to do it. Listen carefully. We'll begin with the senior service, the United States Army. So if you've got a hoo-ah in you, this is a good time to let it out. There we go. All right. All right. You know, years ago, the Army had what I thought was the very best slogan anybody came up with, which was "Be all you can be." And then somebody, somewhere, decided to change it to an army of one. And I thought, well, good Lord, even the Marines want a few good men. I couldn't believe it. And finally, they got rid of that, and now it's Army Strong, and I can live with that one. Army Strong. So God bless our Army vets that are with us tonight. God bless you all. And in the last number of years, I've had a great deal to do with the members of the United States Marine Corps. I've got some observations about the Corps. First of all, no one ever gets out of the United States Marine Corps. Once they're in for the rest of their life. There are no former Marines, there are no ex-Marines, and so on. If you ask them, there you go. If you ask them, it's just, "I'm a Marine. I'm a Marine." And they mean it. and you probably better say okay. And so generally, and you just heard it, they got a little bit ahead of me here, but that's the Marines for you. Generally, when I mention anything to do with the Corps, I either get an oorah, which comes from way, way down here, or they just bark, because they're devil dogs. You know, that kind of stuff. But God bless our United States Marines and all of them that are here tonight. And then there is the United States Navy. Okay, there we go. And I'm proud to tell you Navy veterans that are here tonight that it is still an adventure. You remember those advertisements that said, join the Navy, it's an adventure? Join the Navy, see the world. I had a friend from high school that joined the Navy. He went to San Diego, and he was discharged from San Diego. And he said, where's this world I was supposed to see? And then there were others that ended up in the PBRs with me over in Vietnam. They certainly saw a different side of the United States Navy. But whether they served on shore or served in the sea service or in the submarine, God bless our veterans of the United States Navy. Now, I'm going out of order right now, and you'll notice that, but I want to talk for a moment about the United States Coast Guard. Yeah. All right, we've got a coastie here. I love that. It's the service I don't joke about, and I'm going to tell you why. I was born in Portland. I was raised in Albany. I spent my entire youth on that over 300 miles of Oregon coastline. I'll tell you about the Coast Guard. They will go when no one else will go, and they will stay for as long as it takes to do either a rescue or a recovery, whichever comes first. And they will come from all over the United States to boat stations here in Oregon and to the 2 air stations at Astoria and North Bend. Their courage is unbelievable for their age. It's been said that the United States military gives great responsibility to very young people, and the Coast Guard is no different. As I said, they will go anytime, any place, and stay for as long as it takes to get done with the mission. So to them I say, Semper Paratus. God bless the United States Coast Guard. It occurred to me, too, before I leave the Coast Guard, that I can just see a young man, or a young woman, either one, from Brooklyn, New York, joining the Coast Guard and finding themselves assigned to Astoria, Oregon. Is that not a culture shock? I mean, it starts with they don't even speak the language coming out of Brooklyn, New York. It's almost as bad as if they were from Alabama. But of course, some would say I've saved the best for last. Well, I simply, because it's my time to speak, I've saved the United States Air Force for last, where I spent 8 years of my life and learned a lot of lessons and got a lot of responsibility very early in my life, including my time in Vietnam, where I served as an air policeman. We lost 111 air policemen killed in action during that war. Doesn't sound like a lot when you think about the Army or the Marine Corps and so on, but it's a lot when you knew them and when they were your brothers. But I will tell you, we get a knock in the Air Force. People knock us for our living conditions. They knock us for our chow. They knock us for our duty hours. It's just terrible. And, you know, you heard all those hoo-ahs and oorahs a few moments ago, and the yays from the Navy and the Coast Guard and so on. But I want you to know that I'm from the United States Air Force, where we say, is everybody comfortable? Now I want to tell you what we really say. Fly, fight, win, Air Force. Ooh, all right. Anytime there's a gathering such as this, we get all eras of service and all branches, and that looks like what happened this evening. one of the things I like to do at these kind of gatherings is find out who my senior veteran is and who my junior veteran is. So I can't see the audience very well from up here, but do we have a veteran here that's 90 or more in age 90 or up? Oh, good. Bring up those house lights a little bit. Anybody 90? Where? Okay. Do I have more than one? I have one that's 90, right? Okay. Now, stand by. Now, do I have anybody who is still in their teens that's in the United States military that's here tonight? So you're 17, 18, 19, right around, nobody? Okay. Anybody in their 20s that's a military veteran? Have I got a 20-something? Where is it? Right there? Okay, how old? How old are you? 25. Anybody younger than 25? Okay. Now this is going to test me, see if I got my vision back. Yes, I got it. All right, young man, come down here. Right now. Hurry up. Get down here. Army and Marine Corps. That's great. See, us Air Force guys, we don't live that long. It's a long ways from age 25 to 93, isn't it? A lot of things have happened, and what they've seen and what he will see in his life. You know, this year is an anniversary that for us Vietnam vets, and there's a bunch of them out here tonight, it's an anniversary of the wall in Washington, D.C. Some years ago, I know you find this hard to believe with me being a Presbyterian and everything, but I found myself in an Irish pub in Alexandria, Virginia, where I met a gentleman by the name of Pat Garvey. And Pat Garvey performed a song that was written by a Vietnam veteran, and it's one of the best tributes I've ever seen to the Vietnam Wall. It's called Waiting at the Wall. I received a very, very disturbing phone call from my youngest daughter back in January of 2004. She was a student at Oregon State University, and she was in tears, and I could barely understand her. You see, the war in Iraq had come and touched her because one of the people she knew from clear back in high school had been killed in action. And through her tears and her sobs, she said to her father, "Why?" And I'm going to be the first to tell you I didn't have a good answer. So I thought, what does a father say to his daughter when a soldier dies? And I thought about it for several days. And as it turned out, it just happened to be on Valentine's Day that same year, February 14th, that a thought came to me about what happens when anyone dies in war. And while the name of this poem is When a Soldier Dies, it could have been an airman, a Coast Guardsman, Navy, Marine Corps, Army, doesn't make any difference. We're just using the word soldier here for anyone who's killed in action in service of their nation, of our country. So this is what I wrote. When a soldier dies many miles from home, leaving friends and family to wander alone, who will go to where they lie to say good words when a soldier dies? When a soldier dies, we ponder then, what might they have done? What might they have been? But in our grief, our shock, and our cries, we are simply numb when a soldier dies. When a soldier dies, we measure the pain. Did they fight for freedom? Did they die in vain? The answers are important, you can't deny, to these questions we ask when a soldier dies. When a soldier dies, we think of a way to remember forever the year and the day that they gave their life, and we think with a sigh, we'll never forget when a soldier dies. So enjoy your freedom, your family, and fun, but stop to remember where it all comes from. Freedom is triumph over evil and lies, and it's paid for each time a soldier dies. Thank you all very much. Now, maybe it was fate that I was able to read that to you before the video, because I think it ties in very well to my over 58,000 brothers and sisters who are on that wall, that solemn wall in Washington, D.C. I'm now told the video is ready to go, so please enjoy with me Pat Garvey's rendition of Waiting at the Wall.
On a drizzly DC morning in the middle of July, a brother brought me downtown to the mall. Past the watchful eyes of blinking neath the weeping summer sky, crossed the street to the little green and visited the wall. I remember I was nervous then, I guess a little scared, 'cause I wasn't sure how I'd react at all. To see the names of the servicemen who'd been recorded there, who heard the final roll call and assembled at the wall. And every name's a father or a husband or a son, or a daughter or a brother or a cousin to someone, or a name might be a classmate or a friend you may recall. There's nearly 60,000 fallen names still waiting at the wall. Now the wall is many granite sections, solid, cold, and black. A visitor may pause and touch a name. And it seemed that in the dark reflections, hands were reaching back, as if to greet and touch and hold the hands of those who came. Someone might stoop to leave a rose, a letter or a poem, a message to a young man loved and lost, and to show they still remember those who never made it home. He built the wall so long and tall and paid the bitter cost. And every name's a father or a husband or a son, or a daughter or a brother or a cousin to someone. Or a name might be a classmate or a friend you may recall. There's nearly 60,000 fallen names still waiting at the wall. As I watch the lines of people walk by in slow parade, I read a different story in each face, and I couldn't help but wonder at this pilgrimage we made, what common bond, if any, might have brought us to this place. There were tourists and the curious and some veterans who came, still others who sought an answer to it all. But the only thing I'm sure of is we left not quite the same, with our memories alive and well and waiting at the wall. And every name's a father or a husband or a son, or a daughter or a brother or a cousin to someone. Or a name might be a classmate or a friend you may recall. There's nearly 60,000 fallen names still waiting at the wall. And every name's a father or a husband or a son, or a daughter or a brother or a cousin to someone. Or a name might be a classmate or a friend you may recall. There's nearly 60,000 fallen names still waiting at the wall. Nearly 60,000 fallen names still waiting at the wall.
I think you can see why I believe that's one of the finest tributes to the Vietnam Wall and to our fallen brothers and sisters that one could ever want to see. I want to thank my public information staff at the Department of Veterans Affairs for putting that collage of photographs together, some of which are specific to Oregon. And it gets to me every time I see it, but in a good way. And I think those fellow Vietnam veterans that are in the audience tonight saw some scenes that they absolutely knew and lived, and remembered the people on their left and their right that they served with during that time. Now I want to get to a happier story. What motivates someone to become a veteran advocate? You heard I served active duty for 8 years, and I was in law enforcement for 32. And so where did the veteran thing come from? Well, I want to tell you. I was raised by a World War II combat veteran. He was in the 104th Timberwolf Division that trained right up the road here at Camp Adair, Oregon. And I want to tell you his story, because his story became my story. In 1940, my father graduated from law school in Austin, Texas. And he went out and hung out his shingle, attorney at law, and he was a starving young lawyer at the time of the attack on Pearl Harbor in December of '41. And like hundreds of thousands of American men, and women. He went down to the recruiter, in his case the Army, and said, "I want to serve." They looked on his papers and said, "Well, you'll be in the Judge Advocate Corps because you're a lawyer." I'm going to clean this up a little bit, but what my dad said then to the recruiting sergeant, I'll never forget. He said, "We're not going to sue these idiots. We're going to kick their butts. And I'm going in the infantry." So, I told you he had a law degree. I didn't tell you he was smart. But he did go in the infantry in the 104th, which went to Europe. 4 complete Army divisions were trained at Camp Adair, Oregon. 3 went to Europe, and 1 went to the Pacific. My father's division was in direct combat for 195 days. Think about that. 195 days. He lost a good many of his good friends. And when he came home, he went back to work. He gathered up my mother, who I'll tell you about in a second, and said, "Going back to Texas, I'm going to start my law firm." Well, how in the world did he find this Oregon girl? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you. Right up the road here, there's a little farming community named Shed, Oregon. Shed is south of Tangent, which is south of Albany. My mother grew up in a large farming family there. She went off to Oregon Normal School, which later became Oregon College of Education, which is now Western Oregon University, and she got her teaching credentials. Then she came back to Shed, and she was teaching in a grade school, grades 1 through 8, one-room school. She was the school marm. Highly respected. World War II came along. Camp Adair is building up. They ended up with about 20,000 young men out there. So somehow these young ladies from the Willamette Valley decided they would go out there for the USO dances. I think maybe thinking they might meet a young man. And the young soldiers didn't mind either. So they had these dances to the big band music of that era. And by this time my father had made Buck Sergeant. He was a 3-striper. So he was picked to be a chaperone at these dances to make sure those young private soldiers behaved as gentlemen. And my mother, the school marm, was picked to be a USO chaperone for the young ladies to be sure they behaved as young ladies. She went to the dance and saw that dark-haired, dark-eyed young sergeant from Texas, and it was all over for my mother. And unbeknownst to her, when he saw her, it was all over for him. Love at first sight. I mean, it's the stuff that movies are made of. So he married her before the division shipped over to Europe to make sure nobody got her while he was gone. And as I said, when the war was concluded, he took her to Texas, this little girl from the mid-Willamette Valley. And they had one of those, for most of you who have been stationed in Texas, they had one of those gigantic Texas thunderstorms. And my mother told my father, "I want to go back to Oregon." And my father loved my mother, so he took her back here. And he took the Oregon bar exam and passed it and established a law practice in Albany, where he practiced law for over 50 years till his death. Now, I tell you that story to tell you that in the entire time when I was growing up, my father never once mentioned World War II, or the fact that he was a combat infantryman, or the fact that he went in as a private and got out as a master sergeant. So he must have been a pretty good soldier. But I didn't know that. I found a picture of him when I was a teenager in his uniform, and I showed it to my mother. All she would tell me is, yeah, he was in the Army during the war. That's all she said. Fast forward to February of 1967, and I come home from Vietnam. And I came to see my father. And my father, being a lawyer, in his house, he had a room which we called a study, because he was a lawyer. Today we might call it a man cave. But there were all of his books, and that was his private place, and that's where he would read and develop some of his legal papers and so on. But when I was a teenager, I had a different memory of that room. That was the room where I went with my father to understand behavior. So I didn't have necessarily very good memories of the study. So I came to see my parents having come home from Vietnam, and my father said, "Come with me, son." And I looked around the corner and I said, "Oh my God, we're going to the study." And I thought, "Good Lord, Dad, I'm 23 years old. I'm just back from a war. What are you doing?" But it was a much different talk. For the first and only time in our relationship, my father told me about World War II. And you could have heard a pin drop in that room. And then he said to me, "You came home in one piece. Some of your comrades were killed in action," and that's true. 111 air policemen were killed in action during the Vietnam War. And of course, I knew some of them. He said, "So your responsibility is to the family of those that are not coming back. Your other responsibility is to those that were wounded or damaged spiritually, emotionally, or physically. And that is a duty that will last you for the rest of your life. And don't let me down." When your dad tells you something like that, you tend to listen. Then he took me down and paid my dues to the American Legion and the VFW. He said, "That's the last time I'm paying them. Don't ever let me hear they lapsed." And I said, "Roger that, sir." He is my dad, and I was still scared of him. In any event, my volunteer time when I wasn't working in my career field was spent in some cases driving people to the VA hospital in Roseburg, Portland, the clinic in Vancouver, collecting clothing for those veterans who were indigent, and just, in other words, doing as good a deeds as I possibly could, including for the families of the fallen. And I found that I very much enjoyed the time I spent not only doing that work, but the veterans I was doing it with. So when my law enforcement career came to an end, and this is a story I love to tell, the Director of Veterans Affairs, John Mangus, announced he was going to retire. At that time, I was serving as the chairman of the Governor's Advisory Committee to the Department of Veterans Affairs. And some of my fellow committee members had heard that I had submitted my retirement letter. And they said, "Jim, you're too young to retire. You should take this job. You'd be really good at it." And I was left with two thoughts. One, they really believed what they just told me. Or two, they're trying to kick me out as the chairman. I decided they really believed what they told me. So I went home to the one person that you must check with when you do anything. That was my wife of well over 30 years, and I said, "Honey, the folks are telling me that I should put in for this director's job. What do you think?" My wife was still working then, and she said, and I quote, "I think you should put in for that job because I do not want you home alone with the power tools." It's a true story. She will verify that. See, if you cut one live water pipe in an entire marriage, and it only happened once, it does goof up the drywall, I'll tell you that. So I interviewed for the job, and I got it 9 years ago. And people often ask me, what's the difference between law enforcement and veteran service? And believe it or not, it's an easy answer. Law enforcement was my profession. It allowed me to raise my children. It kept a roof over everybody's head, allowed me to pay my bills, and I think I did my job as good as I could. But serving veterans is my passion. And it's my passion because I did it when there was no money involved, when there was no pay, just because of how it made me feel. And I didn't need to know the name of the veteran we were helping. I just needed to know we were helping them. So when people put on events like this, my admiration for them is almost without measure, because it raises awareness about what people need. And what I found is this: the needs of this generation of veterans is no different than the needs before. When our World War II veterans came home, Let's remember that over 16 million American men and women served in the uniform of our armed forces. 16 million. Over 400,000 died, killed in action. When they came home, nearly half of them took advantage of the GI Bill, and through their education and hard work, created what we now call the middle class in our country. They became doctors and lawyers and engineers and research scientists. Still others became accomplished technicians, welders, electricians, home construction experts, heating and air conditioning, and the list goes on. And still others went back to the farm to feed America. And today, when I look at the young men and women coming out of Afghanistan and Iraq, I can tell you this. They want an education, or they want a good job. They want to raise a family. They want to own their own home. And there's absolutely no difference between them and those wonderful members of the greatest generation and those who served in that terrible forgotten war called Korea, and those who served in Grenada, those who served in Panama, those who served in Vietnam, those who served our country in Lebanon and across the world. Their need is no different. And my concern as the Director of Veterans Affairs is very simple, and I'll tell it to you very directly. As we pull out of Iraq, as we draw down in Afghanistan, I'm very much afraid that the members of the United States Congress will turn away from the needs of our veterans, when in fact, as they pull out of those combat zones, our work with those veterans, and especially those who have been injured, is just beginning. I believe that the young men and women from Afghanistan and Iraq and all the other wars that we're serving through our Veteran Service Office, but I believe the needs of Afghanistan and Iraq and the health care they'll need for traumatic brain injury and for post-traumatic stress is going to require an expenditure over the next 2 decades of nearly $1 trillion. And if we turn our back on those men and women who served us so valiantly and so selflessly, then shame on us, because we didn't learn the lesson of Vietnam. We did turn our back on that generation, and we never can do it again. Never. So in closing, let me say this. You could have been anywhere else this Saturday night. You could have been comfortable. You could have been sitting in your recliner. You could have even been dozing. I've been known to do that on occasion. But every time I do, my 2 dogs get in my lap and wake me up again, so I can't ever get any rest. But my point is, you could have been anywhere tonight, but you chose to be here. Some of you chose to be with your comrades, your fellow veterans. Some of you can talk about your experiences only with those people who were there and understood what you went through. So this is a healing time for some of you. For others, it's a way to pay tribute to those who have served our country so long and so well. And it's a chance to meet a 93-year-old World War II veteran and a 25-year-old Army veteran and everybody in between. You know, we're building a second veterans home in Lebanon, just up the road. And being from Albany, when that site was awarded to Lebanon, I was accused of building it there so I'd have a place to go when I retired. That is not true. And that one wing that overlooks the mountainside where my room is, that's just coincidence and nothing more. So with that, I will tell you, I have been blessed to have one of the best jobs that any person could have ever gotten, a job that I gladly did for free in the past, and that I will continue to do when I leave this job, only because of my respect for our veterans and their families, those who stood behind us while we went off to war or while we served stateside wherever we served. I can never thank you enough, and I can never thank my brothers and sisters in uniform enough for continuing to defend the Constitution of this country and to protect us from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I salute each and every one of you, and I thank you for the honor of being here with you this evening. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage the voice of Vet Talk, KGL 1580, Victor Coons.
Before we start, I want everybody to stand up. I want everybody to do a 180, shake your neighbor's hand and introduce yourself. Cross the aisle. Do like our brothers do. They cross the seas. Cross the aisle and shake hands with your neighbor. Introduce yourself. You know, it's such an honor to be up here tonight and looking out there amongst all of you. The men and women that have served this country, the mothers, the fathers that have allowed us to borrow their sons and daughters to protect the freedoms of this country. One of the things that I thought was kind of about Jim out here tonight was he said that the Veterans Home in Lebanon. He kind of upset me there, and I just want to make that clear. That he said he got a room looking up at the mountain. The room I got right next to him didn't even have a window in it. So, Jim, next time you put in for the budget, I'd like a window. In all seriousness, it's such an honor to be able to speak to all of you and talk to you a little bit about Vets Crossing and what Vets Crossing is all about. Vet Crossing was started 2 years ago. This is their second annual program, and what they're wanting to do is strengthen and inspire all of our soldiers, men and women coming home, their families, their sons, their daughters, their mothers, their fathers. Give them encouragement and the things that they need and what the challenges are before them and how we can help. Because they're coming home with physical problems, they're coming home with mental problems, PTSD, nightmares, and they're worried and they're scared. We as senior veterans from past wars have not talked about it. We've tried to endure and keep it to ourselves. Well, it was several years ago that I was up, I got to admit, at the Indian casino, talking to one of the Indians there, and he got to talking to me. He had served in Vietnam. And he said, what's going on in our great nation that we don't talk about our lives? We don't talk about what we've seen. But we allow people to sit down and write history books that were never there. He said the history is in our hearts. The history's in our minds, and we brought it home, and we locked it up. And without that history, if we don't share each one of our own stories, we will never change and fix a great nation. So today is the day that we need to start. We need to open up. We need to talk to our sons, our daughters, our grandchildren. We need to tell them what war does and what we endure and what our hopes are for this great nation. And without our stories and the understanding, and we can help our young people understand what we went through. This great nation will even grow bigger and better because of the history that we carry in our hearts, not the history that was written in books and taken out. It's very important that each one of us step aboard because, as it says, Vets Crossing, we're crossing over into a new generation. We're starting to send away an old generation. Our World War II veterans are passing away at record numbers. Our Vietnam veterans are beginning to pass away at record numbers. We're seeing our children come home with tremendous different illnesses. A first time in history of all the wars, the number of suicides that are happening because of a lack of understanding, a lack of, we don't have time. So I always challenge everybody when I go out and speak, and that is that when a young soldier comes home, when a sailor, an airman, a Coast Guard that defends our beaches, including the National Guard that we call up for every disaster we have in this country and around the world, when they come home, we need to take them and mentor them. We need to be there for them. I'm so pleased to know people like Jim Willis, and I'm so pleased to know my brothers and sisters. Because I think that as I look out here tonight and I look amongst the crowd, it was said that we will never leave a soldier behind. We will never leave a brother or sister behind. Now, I went back and I looked in every book that I ever had, my albums from Marine Corps boot camp, the papers that I have in my records, and you know, it didn't say anything about 4 years. It was a lifetime that we'll never leave them behind. We need to stand up and make sure that our soldiers coming home understand that we're there for them and they won't be left behind. That's what Vet Crossing is all about. It's also to help the families, the mothers, the fathers, the children, the grandchildren, the ones that don't understand what war has sent home to them and how we can help them get through these things and everything that we do. Because the biggest treasure we have in this nation is not gold, is not silver, is not platinum, but the biggest treasure we have is our U.S. soldiers that serve and defend this country every day. And when we put our gold and silver in safes and lock it up and take it out and count it on the table, and we walk by our soldier in a store and look at him and say, thank you, and we forget him for the next 6 months. We need to start helping our soldiers as they come home find a job. Get them off the streets. Help them get back up. This is not an organization that has ever been designed or set up to just be there and give a veteran a handout, because I've never known a veteran, a man of any military, that wanted a handout. But he does want a hand up. We're there to make sure that they get this hand up and the family gets this hand up. But first we have to acknowledge that every soldier out there and every soldier sitting in here today is a beginning of a new tomorrow. We can't go back and take yesterday and fix it. But we can take today and say we're going to start. And tomorrow we're going to make it better. The next day we're going to make it better. And that is what Vets Crossing is all about. You people are the ones that are going to make Vet Crossing a success. This is their second annual entertainment and growth building process. We want to fill this building next year. We want to make it so full that people will want to come back. One of the things that I want to do, because there are some people that are so instrumental in the work that I do with Vet Talk. Also, I'm the director of Vets Helping Vets, which is an organization that helps veterans get their disabilities. I'm involved with Vets Crossing because of what we do through Vet Talk and Vet Helping Vets. But two people that right now that I want to call out here that are very important in my life and have been instrumental. Brian Myers, would you come out here, please? Sergeant Major, front and center.
I didn't do it.
These two people have been instrumental in doing Vets Crossing and putting it together, organizing it, bringing out the entertainment and the programs, helping gather up the comfort items that we need to send to our troops. As everybody knows, without us, the comfort items that they need will not get there. Without your neighbor, without the neighbor that lives next to your neighbor, we need to send comfort items. Most of you know that have come home or have served in the war, how hard it is to get clean socks, clean toothbrushes, clean T-shirts. Over there, it's pretty hard to get them. And I'll tell you what, it's even harder to get them out of the government. So we need to be stepping up and helping our young men and women. Sergeant Major, you have served in 3 wars, in 3 war periods. I have here a bracelet that has been made by a Native American Indian who is disabled 100%, and he made this bracelet of the Vietnam ribbon for you in recognition of your service and what you've done. Director Jim Willis, front and center.
I'm from the Air Force and I'm not used to being yelled at.
I can't hear you.
Director, you heard?
I did.
One of our Native Americans who served this wonderful country of ours made this for you.
Great.
And asked that you wear it in honor of the service that you've given.
Well, thank you very much.
These men have served in every capacity that I can think of in this country. And most of all, they sacrificed many parts of their life. They've sacrificed time from their family to serve veterans, to serve each one of us in what they've done. Brian, I brought him out here because Brian has been instrumental in this program. And I was told that I'd probably get my back end kicked for bringing him out here. But Brian, I want everybody to give him a big applaud because it takes a lot to put this program together and what he's done. It's really important that we all understand that it's our duty to not leave a soldier behind. Jim, I appreciate your service. Sergeant Major, I appreciate your service. I'm going to dismiss Director Jim Willis. Brian, I'm going to dismiss you. Sergeant Major, stand fast. God, I like that.
You're lucky I'm old.
6 months ago, I was his house mouse. We're going to get ready to do something here that is going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to do a raffle for a guitar.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. Sergeant Major's already out here. And I think we're going to have Vicky bring the guitar out. There we go. And the drawing bucket. He's got to draw. He's going to draw. Oh.
What's my number?
Wait a minute. Don't draw. I don't trust you. He really don't trust me. Oh, God. Let's draw again.
Don't tell me it's your number.
Past BVA Commander Rick Olson, front and center. This is the past commander of Post 585, Vietnam Veterans of America out of Lebanon, Oregon. And he has won the guitar. And we ask and thank each and every one of you on the drawing for the donations of the guitar. You're very well. What are we doing? Would you like to take your seat, or would you like Vicky to escort you to the back?
We can have Rocky sign it for you.
And, huh? You want to go to the back? Rocky's going to sign that for you. We're going to have Rocky autograph it. Yes. And no. Sergeant Major, come on up here. Oh, yes. No, you can stay here and help me out here.
All right.
Because what we're going to do is we've gone through everything. We've got a guitar winner and the whole 9 yards. And now,
Ready for taps, aren't we?
Sergeant Major, I'm going to turn the pulpit and the microphone over to you.
I hope this is not a pulpit.
It's not?
I hope not. I know it's a church, but
But you know, one of the things you and I both remember is every time we walked out them hallways up there in San Diego, we always seen that sign hanging above the doors and the archways. It said, God, country, and Corps.
there it is.
It's right there. Keep it right here.
Absolutely. Right in there.
Right here. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. Right under where it's now. It's right under where my Marlboros used to be.
Sergeant Major.
Thank you.
Mike Short.
Thank you. Taps. We are going to have a little demonstration of taps, and I'd like to give you the etymology of the word taps. The term originates from the Dutch term tapto, meaning close the beer taps and send the troops back to camp. Military tattoo comes from this same sign. The time is actually a variation of an earlier bugle call known as the Scottish tattoo, which was used in the U.S. from 1835 to 1860 and was arranged in its present form by the Union Army Brigadier General Daniel Butterfield, an American Civil War general who earned the Medal of Honor. And TAPS concludes many military funerals conducted with honors at Arlington National Cemetery, as well as hundreds of other around the United States. The tune is also sounded at many memorial services in Arlington's Memorial Amphitheater and grave sites throughout the cemetery. Taps became a standard component of the U.S. military funerals in 1891, and in 1874 it was officially adopted by the Army. And incidentally, when it was first produced, it was used by both the Union Army and the Confederate Army. Taps is also sounded nightly in the military installations at non-deployed locations to indicate that it's time for lights out. When taps is sounded at a funeral, it is customary for serving members of the military or veterans to salute. The corresponding gesture for civilians is to place the right hand over the heart. I'd like to, there are 3 verses, and I'd like to read them. Day is done, gone the sun. From the lakes, from the hills, from the sky, all is well, safely rest. God is nigh. Fading light dims the sight, and a star gems the sky. Gleaming bright from afar, drawing near, falls the night. Thanks and praise for our days, neath the sun, neath the stars, neath the sky. As we go, this we know, God is nigh. And now, I'd like to introduce to you, we're going to have taps blown by Lauren Corner, who will be here on the stage, and Pat Johnson, she will be in a balcony blowing the echoes. It is echo taps, and it is something to hear. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we honor our fallen heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a brief intermission and return at 2000 hours for Rocky Lynn.
gentlemen, please make your final bids as the silent auction will be closing in 5 minutes. And if you would please make your way back into the auditorium, the program will begin shortly.
Thank you for your service.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Blue Star Mother, Vicki Myers.
Hello again. We had several people asking to replay the opening video, so we're going to replay it really quickly and then we're going to bring out our entertainment, Rocky Landon.
From the cities to the farmland, north, south, east, and west. From the Rockies to the ocean, ain't America the best? Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your time, your core, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? We all came here from somewhere. Lord, help us not forget. best together. Man, ain't America the best? Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your time, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? The lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that big Montana sky. Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your time, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful?
I'm sorry. Oh. All right. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing someone incredibly special. He does so much for our troops and our veterans. He is truly amazing. And, you know, his story is actually amazing, but what he does for all of our veterans is quite remarkable. So you've seen him on Good Morning America, Fox and Friends, ABC News, and the Grand Ole Opry. A veteran of the United States Army, 82nd Airborne. Much of Rocky's charitable efforts are spent in support of men and women in our U.S. Armed Forces. His proceeds from his most recent album, Songs for Soldiers, benefits troop-related charities. He recently spent 21 days overseas where he and the band entertained U.S. troops in Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, and the Persian Gulf. Please welcome, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, the voice of veterans, Rocky Lynn.
Hello, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here and an honor to pay tribute to all of these veterans in this home and in this house. Oftentimes, I don't know how to start, so I thought tonight I'd just talk and we'd play. On November 14th, 1964, I was found in a garbage dumpster. I was born, and whoever, for my people, they threw me away. And luckily somebody found me. And I was placed in a place called the Barham Springs Home for Children. And that's where I grew up. It wasn't a great place, but it was better than that garbage dumpster. And that's not a bad thing. That's just the way it was. Out of high school, I joined the United States Army because I wanted to go to college and I didn't have any other place to go. And I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. I went to advanced infantry training at Fort Benning, Georgia. I went to jump school at Fort Benning, Georgia. I was getting pretty tired at Fort Benning, Georgia. And they placed me at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in the 1st of the 504th Airborne Infantry. And I thought it was like playing John Wayne. That's what I thought. It was like fun. And on October the 3rd, 1983, 1 day short of a week after I got to permanent party, they called us all over to Green Ramp. We used to do these things called EDRES, Emergency Rapid Deployment Exercises, where they would put us in an airplane and fly us out, and we would jump. I would get pushed, everybody else would jump. And we would look for communists. Usually that would be somewhere in the Uwharrie National Forest in North Carolina. And had there been a communist, but on October the 3rd, they gave us, instead of the red-tipped ammunition, they gave us real bullets. And a whole bunch of boys had to grow up. And one of our boys did not come home. And I dealt with it the way I deal with everything. I write a song. And this song has become the theme song for Tribute to the Troops. Tom and his wife, the McKinleys, are here. And he is my partner in the Tribute to Troops. And what we do is get on motorcycles and visit those families. So I would like to start tonight by remembering those soldiers that didn't come home. And called for duty, a God and country and fellow man. Beaches made for beauty are covered with bloody grains of sand. Mothers, hide your children. There's danger in this land. And Father, please forgive me, for I know not who I am. Fly home, my sweet angel, from sea to shining sea. Fly home, my sweet angel, won't you fly on home to me? Well, I can hear the devil's calling, bombs and sirens fill up the air. I can see my brothers falling everywhere. there's danger in this land. And Father, please forgive me, for I know not who I am. Fly home, my sweet angel, from sea to shining sea. Fly home, my sweet angel, won't you fly on home to me? Shining sea, fly home, my sweet angel, won't you fly on home to me? Won't you fly on home to me? Matthew grew up farming in Moose Lake, Minnesota. He played football and dreamed of college, having a family when he got older. He had 3,000 reasons for joining up to fight in the service of our country. He was willing to give his life. Heroes come from small towns, poor kids and class clowns, and everybody knows when push comes to shove, first one in line for the country they love. The cause for freedom is buried in the ground. Heroes come from small towns. There's many more just like him from all around this land. Just like their fathers before them, they're not afraid to take a stand. They might not make the papers or be on the nightly news, but they're in our hearts forever for what they chose to do. Heroes come from small towns, poor kids and class clowns, and everybody knows when push comes to shove, they're the first one in line for the country they love. The freedom is buried in the ground.
heroes come from small towns all across this nation. They answer the call. There'll be an invitation in heaven for them all. 'Cause heroes come from small towns, poor kids and class clowns. And everybody knows when push comes to shove, they're the first one in line for the country they love. 'Cause freedom is buried in the ground. Heroes come from small towns. Heroes come from small towns like Eugene, Oregon. Heroes come from small towns. From the cities to the farmland, north, south, east, and west. From the Rockies to the ocean. Let me ask you a question, folks. Ain't America the best? Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your tide, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Well, we all came here from somewhere. Lord, help us not forget, folks. We're all in this together. Let me ask you one more time. Let them hear it in Baghdad. Ain't America the best? Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your tide, your pull, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? That lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that big Oregon sky. How about this? That lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that U.S. Coast Guard sky. Brian, I told you there was other folks here that like the Coast Guard. That lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that U.S. Air Force sky. Oh, that lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that U.S. Navy sky. That lady in the harbor with her torch held high, the Mississippi River and that U.S. Marine Corps sky. her torch held high the Mississippi River and that U.S. Army sky. Ain't America beautiful? This place that we call home. Give us your tithe, your poor, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Your child, your poor, your yearning to be free forevermore. Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful? Ain't America beautiful, folks? Thanks to veterans. Right here. This is my job. This is my life. This is who I am. This is what I do. I'm one of the fortunate few. 'Cause I followed my heart and I know what I'm doing is right. I'm proud to be a soldier, to offer my life in this fight for the red, white, and blue. I won't back down, I'll stand my ground along with all the others, my band of brothers. Say it loud, say it with me. I'm proud to be a soldier. This uniform, stare into the eye of the storm. I'm part of a team that's bigger than me. We are the Rockets' red glare, and this is a family. It always was and always will be. Oh, when I'm far from home, I'm still not alone. My brothers and sisters are there. Proud to be a soldier, to offer my life in this fight for the red, white, and blue. I won't back down, I'll stand my ground along with all the others, my band of brothers. Say it loud. I'm proud to be a soldier. Just like my father, his father before. I keep this flame burning in honor of these colors he wore. 'Cause I'm proud to be a soldier,
just say it loud. I'm proud to be a soldier. I'm proud to be a soldier. Oh, thank you, folks. It feels to me like we're family. You know, I stood up there to greet everybody when you come in, and it just feels like home. And it's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor for us to come to your wonderful city. I came a couple days early, and we were able last night to go to the Post 10 there in Albany that, you know, burnt down. And they're in a different building, and we played, and we raised them $2,500 to help rebuild their business here. I'd like to personally recognize our oldest veteran here this evening, Major Pratt, who's right back yonder. Major Pratt is 93 years old. He is a distinguished veteran of our service and served our country with pride. He received a battlefield promotion. I think he was a sergeant to second lieutenant, and worked his way through our life. We're proud of you, sir, and we appreciate your service to our country, all of you. That first little bit we did there is part of the show that I do, or that we do when we go overseas. We go at Christmas time to Afghanistan and Iraq. This year, Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi. What the heck is that? But that's where we went. And I just play the little places. I do what they call FOBs, forward operating bases. Sometimes I'll play to 10 guys in a tent, and it's just a pleasure for me to do it and an honor. So this guy's driving down the road on his motorcycle, and he comes across this bottle, and he rubs on it, and this genie comes out. Butch. And this genie says, I'm going to give you one wish. And he says, well, I tell you, I would like it if there was a bridge from here to Hawaii so I can ride my motorcycle across that bridge. And the genie said, that's quite a wish. I mean, all the things that would entail, the engineering and the marvels and the money. Could you come up with something else? He said, well, I'll tell you something. How about this? All my life, I've wanted to know what made a woman tick. If you could tell me how a woman thinks and how she feels and how she reacts, that would just be plenty. That'd be enough for me. And Genie touches his chin and he says, how many lanes you want on that bridge? How about our wives, men? How about a hand for these wives, these ladies that work with us and stay with us and take care of us? We're doing a new record, and we had some success with an old record. Here's a few songs for you. See what you think.
Some people want a big house high on a hill. I just want to be loved. Some people want a cherry red Coupe de Ville. I just want to be loved. I guess it's different strokes for different folks, but when push comes to shove, hey, I know what I want and I always will. I just want to be loved. I think it's great to be a king, but I just want to be loved. Or you might not need much of anything, I just want to be loved. And I sure hope everybody finds everything they're dreaming of. But for me, it's a simple thing. just wanna be loved by you for the rest of my life. It's true, some things money can't buy. I've got you and that's more than enough. I just wanna be loved. The good book says we reap what we sow, but I just wanna be loved. Baby, I'm all yours, honey, heart and soul. I just wanna be loved. 'Cause every day you light up my life like an angel from above. Oh, loving you big, that's the way to go. I just wanna be loved by you for the rest of my life. It's true, some things money can't buy. I've got you and that's more than enough. I just wanna be loved. I just wanna be loved. Thank you, folks. Thank you for making this next one a #1 record for us. We can go down to old El Paso or spend the night in New Orleans or go out to California like we've always dreamed. Make love out in the desert. I can watch the sunset in your eyes. Let's go tonight. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. Well, enough of this nonsense, baby. We're bigger than this. Let's get back to us and the thrill we had with our first kiss. You know the road can take us out where we both feel so alive. Let's go tonight. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. We can go down to old El Paso, spend the night in New Orleans, or go out to California like we've always dreamed. Make love out in the desert. I can watch the sunset in your eyes. Let's go tonight. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. I'm tired of this life we're living, dreaming dead end dreams, like a worn out old shag carpet playing at the seams. But you know we've got to change it, no wait until the time is right. Let's go tonight. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. We can go down to old El Paso or spend the night in New Orleans, or go out to California like we've always dreamed. Make love out in the desert. I can watch the sunset in your eyes. Let's go tonight. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. Let me touch you. Let me love you. Let your heart race next to mine. Or we can go down to old El Paso, or spend the night in New Orleans. Go out to California like we've always dreamed. Make love out in the desert. I can watch the sunset in your eyes. Let's go tonight. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. You can put your lipstick on while I drive. Tony Price on the guitar, folks. How about a hand from him? Now, I'm not sure if Tony lives in Minneapolis or Scottsdale, Arizona. He might live in both places. But Tony's a great musician and a great singer. When Sammy Hagar got the job singing for Van Halen, Tony was the other guy considered for the job. It's a pleasure to have you here, Tony. Back on the piano, she's from Sacramento, California. She's a fantastic player and singer and a wonderful lady. How about a hand for Miss Gail Fisho back there? There's a Leonard Skinner tribute band in the Midwest called Austin Healey, and they're as famous as Leonard Skinner in that area, and they're great. And this young man back here has been the drummer for that band for 25 years. He's one of the nicest and most genuine and real people I've ever met in my life, and it's an honor to have my friend Jerry Archambault playing drums with us this evening. This young man, you ever seen those AT&T commercials where he has the aha moment? And the guy's, he looks regular, but then when he has his aha moment, he has that real handsome version of himself. He's my aha moment. He's a great singer. He's a wonderful human being. He's a fine bass player and a gentleman. Mr. Jim Stroud on the bass guitar, folks. Back on the sound is, gosh, I don't even know what to say about my friend Dave. He's gone with me to Afghanistan. He went in the trenches everywhere. He's a wonderful sound person. He's a great guitar player. He's a mentor of mine. He's run sound for Frank Sinatra, Stevie Wonder,
bad company, you name it, he's done it. Folks, how about a big hand for Dave Albro back there? We're all family men, and that's kind of our thing. You know, a lot of bands are about different stuff, but we're kind of about our families and our home. And so I'd like to do a song for all the wives out there this evening. This one's called The Only Reason. 4:30 a.m., July 28, in the middle of a storm, never touching the brake. I drove like a bat out of hell down that lonely old 4-lane. With the bright lights of Houston just fading behind, my tires tearing up the road toward the state line. Was leaving the great Lone Star State I love good. For the love of a good woman who lives in Louisiana on a bayou by the river with the moon in her hair. When I get there, I'm gonna get down on one knee, 'cause wherever she is, boy, that's home for me. Don't get me wrong. Love's the only reason I'd ever leave Texas. She's the only reason I'd ever stay gone. Just about Baton Rouge, I was changing my mind, thinking about all the things I'd be leaving behind. Like a red river sunrise and the stars on the Galveston line. For the love of a good woman who lives in Louisiana on a bayou by the river with the moon in her hair. When I get there, I'm gonna get down on one knee, 'cause wherever she is, boy, that's home for me. Don't get me wrong. Love's the only reason I'd ever leave Texas. She's the only reason I'd ever stay gone. Like a long, lonely night, wondering where I'd spend the rest of my life. Gone, like an old tumbleweed, rolling his way to a place he can't find to call home. For the love of a good woman who lives in Louisiana on a bayou by the river with the moon in her hair. When I get there, I'm gonna get down on one knee, 'cause wherever she is, boy, that's home for me. Don't get me wrong. Love's the only reason I'd ever leave Texas. She's the only reason I'd ever stay gone. Don't you know love's the only reason I'd ever leave Texas? And you're the only reason I'd ever stay gone. I'd ever stay gone. I'd ever stay gone. What a band, huh? How about a hand for those guys? Guitar has always been my passion. From the first time I saw one, I think I was 4 or 5 years old. I just gotten adopted by a really poor but wonderful family. I always say my mama had a lifetime of education, but only 3 years of school. And she took me to meet some of her family way back in the mountains of North Carolina. And this guy had a guitar, and as soon as I saw it, I said, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. I just knew. I've got an 18-year-old daughter that cannot figure out what she's going to do at all. But she's smart, better than me. This is Brian right here. And Brian's a young guitar player. And Brian, I would like to say to you that you can do way better and more than I'm doing up here. I want to encourage you to follow that dream and live your life and work hard. How about a hand for Brian? I grew up in a little town in North Carolina called Cool Springs, North Carolina. And Cool Springs was so small that the taxidermist and the veterinarian were the same person. His name was Dr. Guth, and he had a sign up over his door that said, Dr. Guth, veterinarian / taxidermist. And then in parentheses it said, either way, you get your dog back. So I just gotten adopted by this wonderful lady, and she had this little dog. That's why I'm telling you the story. And we took the dog to that Dr. Guth. And when we got there, he said, well, what's wrong with the dog? And my mama, she talked real slow, and she was real country. I don't have an accent, but she really had one. And she would say, my dog won't come when I call him. So the doctor looked at the dog, and he said, Miss Lynn, I believe that your dog has an abundance of hair growth in his ear. And I think what you should do is go down to the drugstore and get a can of that Nair chemical hair remover and put it in that dog's ear. And then that dog will hear you, and he'll come when you call him. So me and Mama went down to the Revco drugstore on East Broad Street in Statesville, North Carolina. That was the big city near our town, population 5,000. And she goes up to the counter because she couldn't read, and I was probably 5 by then. I couldn't read either. She said, I want a can of that Nair chemical hair remover. The pharmacist said, yes, ma'am. He said, go around the back. And he comes back and he sits it down on the counter and he goes, now, Miss Lynn, before you get this, I want you to know that if you use that underneath your arms, you shouldn't wear deodorant for a week. My mama got this puzzled look on her face and she said, I'm not going to put that stuff underneath my arms. He said, all right. Miss Lynn, if you're going to put that stuff on your legs, I suggest that you not wear pantyhose for a week. And my mama got a little perturbed and she said, I'm not putting that stuff on my legs. Now remember, I'm 5. And he said, and I quote, Miss Lynn, where do you intend to put this Nair chemical hair remover? My mama looked him right in the eyes and she said, on my schnauzer. He leaned over that counter and he said, Miss Lynn, I suggest you not ride a bicycle for a month. My whole life, when I would say to my mama, I would say, I love you, Mama. Because she was the first person that ever cared if I had anything to eat, if I had any clothes to wear. She would say back to me, son, I love you more. When she passed away, I wanted to write a song for her in tribute to her. And I'd like to recognize the McKinley family, the Troyer family, the Wiley family, and the Marks family. If I missed a Gold Star family, I'm sorry, but all they I believe are our Gold Star families here. Would you give them a hand, please? I got to thinking, what did Mama mean when she said, I love you more? and I thought about my children, and I thought about these families we visit, and I finally figured out that my mama meant she loved me more than herself. That's what she meant. That's how I feel about my children. That's how these families and you feel about your children. So I'd like to dedicate this song called More to y'all, and thank you for making it a hit record for me. Well, you say I am your everything, the half that makes you whole. You say you love me with all your heart, your body and your soul. You say your love is an ocean without any shore. You ask how much I love you. Well, I love you more. I'd give you my seat on the train to heaven if only one of us could go. Give every ounce of blood in my body if no pain you'd ever know. I'd fight every evil that ever came against our door. Yeah, I know how much you love me. I love you more. Waking up with you in the morning, seeing your smiling face makes me feel like God has put us in a permanent state of grace. Your kiss tells me you need me like nobody has before. You say how much you wanted me. Well, I want you more. With every day that goes by, more. When I hold you every night, our love will last till the end of time. Then baby we'll find even more. I'd give you my seat on the train to heaven if only one of us could go. Give every ounce of blood in my body if no pain you'd ever know. I'd fight every evil that ever came against our door. I know how much you love me. I know how much you love me. I know how much you love me. I love you more. I'd like to try a new song on you. Would that be all right? One of the things, we've been visiting these families for 10 years now. In the state of Minnesota, where I started this, Greg and I started this thing, there's been 100 families, and we've been to almost every house. And we've raised money. We've raised over $250,000, and nobody takes any money out. It all goes into college funds for the children that are left behind. That's because of you. Thank you for that. But when we stand in these homes, and they always have, pictures and all the stories about their heroes. And these are tough men, these guys that give their lives, these veterans in this room. Sergeant Major back there. These are tough guys. So I thought, sometimes it might be cool to talk about that because they're kind of crazy. So this song is called, and I want your opinion when we're done, when I'm out there. Tell me what you think, especially you Gold Star families, because I just want to know what you think. It's called What's Heaven Gonna Do with Hellraisers Like You? Lord knows we've had our share of crazy times and wild women. Remember that night over there next to Newport, skinny dipping. We were young and dumb, we never hurt no one, thinking we were gonna live forever. Now we know better. Looking back on all the things we've done, man, we sure had some fun. What's heaven gonna do with hellraisers like you? What's heaven gonna do with hellraisers like you? Tears and flowers fill this room, and there's a preacher reading the scripture. Well, if anyone in needs proof that you weren't an angel, well, I've got the pictures. Now it's time to speak my mind and tell all these folks how we felt about each other. We were brothers. And tonight I'll keep you in my prayers. And one day I'll see you there. What's heaven gonna do with hellraisers like you? What's heaven gonna do with hellraisers like you? You know the Lord himself is bound to grin when you come walking in. What's heaven gonna do with hellraisers like you? What's heaven gonna do with hellraisers like you? Thank you, folks. I'd like to bring the band back on, if you would. Give them a hand. Folks, I'd like, if you could, guys that are running the light, how about a hand for the folks that do the lights and sound here at the church? They do a great job. If you could, I'd like for you to bring the house lights up just a little bit. I think it's great the way we're loving our veterans, and we got our motorcycle rides and our tributes, and it's fantastic. But there's a group of our veterans that did not get that respect when they came home. Our Vietnam veterans, when they came home, there wasn't a motorcycle parade waiting at the airport. There wasn't anybody saying good job when they come home. Sometimes they had to take their uniform off in the airport. If you guys would do me an honor, those of you that are able, would the Vietnam veterans that are here, would you stand up in the room and just remain standing for me, please? How about a hand for these men, the Vietnam veterans? When I was writing my patriotic album, please, if you guys would remain standing and allow me this honor. When I was writing my patriotic record, I could not address your situation. So I wrote this for you, and if you would stand and just let me sing it for you, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you
I want to thank you from my heart. And there's a million others just like me who want to do the same. We're gonna thank you. I finally say the words we should have said. It's long overdue. We want to thank you. This song is for all you did. I saw you back when I was a kid. Saigon was burning on my TV. And I remember when you came home, you must have felt all alone. And it's a little late, but I'm gonna say it. Thank you. I want to thank you from my heart. And there's a million others just like me who want to do the same. We're gonna thank you. I finally say the words we should have said. It's long overdue. We want to thank you. Won't you stand with them this evening? Stand with our Vietnam brothers in arms. Give them a round of applause. Welcome home after all these years. We've seen the wall, we've shared your tears. 58,479 strong. Woo! Brave men and women fell. God knows it must have been hell. And I'm sorry that it took so long. Thank you. I want to thank you from my heart. And there's a million others just like me who want to do the same. We're gonna thank you. I finally say the words we should have said. It's long overdue. We want to thank you. I want to thank you from my heart. And there's a million others just like me who want to do the same. We're gonna thank you. Finally say the words we should have said. It's long overdue. We want to thank you. Yes, it's so long overdue.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for serving our country.
Thanks for your sacrifice.
Welcome home, brother. Standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw that hearse come rolling to carry my brother away. As I followed close behind him, tried to cheer up and be brave. sorrow. I could not hide them when they laid my brother down in his grave. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. Sue, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Miss Gail, come on. As I followed close behind him, tried to tear up and be brave. All my sorrow, I could not hide them when they laid my brother down in his grave. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Well, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Yeah, the circle be unbroken. By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Well, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Lord, have mercy in the sky. I want to thank you for coming out this evening. I want to thank you for your service to our country. You are the reason that we are free. I want to thank your wives and your family. And I'd like to thank Brian and Vicki Myers for they work tirelessly and endlessly to do good things for veterans and their families and to put on Vets Crossing. How about a hand for Brian and Vicki Myers? My good friend Mary Parker is sitting right over here, and as we do this last song, I'd like to ask you, Mary, if you would, to come up and join us and sing with us. Do you mind? How about a hand for Mary Parker? She plays in a band called well, I don't know what they're called, but they play at Randy's Coffee Shop down in Brownsville, and it's the best cup of coffee you'll ever have. Hello, sweetheart. This last song, I wrote all these songs, by the way, if you like them. Thank you for listening to them. It means a lot to me. This last song,
It just kind of came to me in about 10 minutes. I'll just tell you the story. That song, Home, when we would go to people's families' homes, we would give them a copy of that song with a video of all the, like you saw, the fallen soldiers in that state. And it was at a time where they were sending out letters that were stamped by the Secretary of Defense. He didn't know what was happening. He did not. I know for a fact he did not. But they were doing that instead of him signing them. And one of the families sent a copy of that video with the paper torn up to the Pentagon. And they were starting this program called America Supports You. And this lady calls me on the phone and she says, "Hello, my name is Linda Kasarian. I'm the Director of Affairs at the Pentagon." And I said, I quote, "And I'm the Queen of England." And I hung up. Because I thought it was somebody playing a trick on me. The phone rings back and she goes, "Write this number down and call me back. Don't hang up." So I wrote the number down. And I called back and this lady said, "Pentagon." And I asked for that lady and she was there. And she said that they loved my song, Home. And they wanted to use it as the theme song for America Supports You. But they didn't really like the second verse, where the soldier's questioning whether he wants to be there. And wanted to know if I'd change that line. I had written that song for my friend. And we did question whether we wanted to be there or not. So I told her I could not change the line. But I said, "What's your program about?" She says, "It's about making sure what happened to our Vietnam soldiers never happen again. That we say, no matter what background or color or how much money they got or their political position, no matter what we think of the war, pro or con, that we will stand behind our soldiers." And I said, "Well, that's a great idea. I'll write you a song about that." She said, "Well, that's fine. You can send it here if you get done." And she hung up. And then she told me later she never expected to hear from me again, but she didn't know that I had my own recording studio and I had nothing else to do. So I sat down, and in about however long the song is, I just turned on my tape recorder and I sung this song. And it's just like it came out. So I really have to give God the credit for that, because it wasn't me. I sent it FedEx to her office. The next morning I got a call and she was in tears and she said, "This is it. This is the song. We're going to use it." I said, "Well, great. If you give me a budget." I did it in my little home studio playing all that stuff. And I said, "Well, give me a budget and we'll record it." She said, "No, I'm putting it up. I'm putting it up right now, just like it is." And so it was on there until they stopped that program and put something else in for 7 or 8 years. It's played at every memorial service in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be, or any other place in the world, that I'd love to end my show and sing it than for you tonight. Thank you for coming. When I'm done, I'm going to go right out yonder, and I'm going to stand till all of you come by and let me hug your neck and tell you how grateful we are for you and how much we love you and we appreciate your service. If you like these songs, you can buy a CD, and proceeds from the CDs will go to Vets Crossing, and we will send socks and all kinds of stuff to these soldiers. Thank you, folks, and thank you for having us. It's our pleasure.
Well, they come from every corner of our country. The cities, the mountains, and the farms. Modern day Minutemen and women, like our heroes from the past. Whenever we need them, all we had to do was ask. They're Christian, they're Muslim, they're Jew. They're all red, white, and blue. How about a hand for them? Sacrificing their family and their friends for our country and the freedom they defend. Giving everything they've got some have had to give it all. The black man, the white man, and the Sioux. The middle class, the poor, and the well-to-do. They're all red, white, and blue. And when their duty calls them to stand guard and patrol, they represent with honor the values we uphold. They are the proud Americans, tested, tried, and true. They're red, white, and blue.
How about a hand for our soldiers downrange this evening, folks?
Yeah, they are the proud Americans, tested, tried, and true. They're red, white, and blue.
Oh, yeah.
They're red, white, and blue. Like me and you. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, wide with home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Sergeant Major. From the mountains
From the mountains
to the prairie, to the ocean, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.
And God bless our veterans.
Who protect our home, sweet. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you for your service. God bless you.
Everybody stay in your seats. We got just a few more things to do here to help out. Rocky Lynn, we want to thank you for your service and your dying time that you spend on the road, going overseas to all the countries around the world and talking to our soldiers. The story that wasn't given out is what this band and this man does. When he says he goes to Afghanistan, he does not just go and stand in an aircraft carrier or a hangar. He goes to the outposts where there's 4 or 5 of your sons or daughters that are so far out that nobody wants to go. But he goes there and entertains those 4 or 5, just as he's done here tonight. And I think we need to give him a big hand.
It's really an honor, and it's nothing. It's the very least that we could do. It's my pleasure to do it, as it was to sing for you.
We're gonna do one more thing for Vets Crossing, and all of you have to participate. How many can do that? Let's see a show of hands. How many can participate? Well, that's a start. That's where I wanted to go, was hands in the air, because we're auctioning off a guitar. And do we have it out here? Here it comes. So all of you are going to have to help me. The money we raise from this is going to go to Vets Crossing and help buy the incidentals our soldiers need: socks, T-shirts, a little sweet candy, shaving cream. My wife says I need a little of that. Throwaway razors, I need more than one. But here we go. We've got a guitar here. It's a Gibson, I believe. Gibson. And I shouldn't bid on it because my daddy told me I played for a few years. But I sat in my bedroom and I kept hitting one chord. And I think it was a C. And he says, "What are you doing, son?" He come in there and he says, "You've been doing that for 3 months, just that one chord, hour after hour." And I looked at him and I said, "Dad, you got all these people out there running around the country with guitars and playing all this stuff. They're still looking, and I found it." But we're going to auction it off. And who's going to start it out on this guitar? Right here. It's going to be signed off by Rocky Lynn and autographed to you. And who's going to give me $125 where? And do I got a $125? Anybody go $125? Who's going to give me $100? Start it up. $100. I got $100. Now $110. Do I got a $110? Now $20. I got $10 here. Now $20. Do I got a $20 bid? Now $20. $20. Now $30. I got $130. Now $40. Do I got a $40 bid over here? I got $30. Now $40. How about a $40 bid one more time? $40. $50. Now $60. Do I got a $60? Now $70. I got $60 here, now $70. How about a $70 bid? $70, now $80. And do I got an $80 bid where? $80, now $90. $80 over here, now $90, now $200. And $2, now $210. And do I got a $10, now $10, now $15. Do I got a $15, now $20. $20, do I got $20. $20, now $25. How about a $25, now $30. $30, now $35. $30 over here, now $235. I got $230 here, all bids in, all bids done. $235 here once. $235, now $4. I got $240 right there, now $5. $250, $260. And 260 now 70. All right, do I got 70? 270 now 280. Do I got 280? 290. Do I got 290? Now 300. 300 now 310.
Victor, Rocky said he's going to sweeten the pot just a little bit. I'm going to let him share that with you.
The guitar is a Gibson Epiphone Junior, and it's a cool guitar. It retails, I don't know, $500 or $600. But whoever gets the guitar, I'll come out a day early next year for Vets Crossing, and I'll come to your house and I'll do an in-home concert at your house, just me.
Okay, we got 310. Who's going to start? Who's going to jump at the 400? And do I got 400? 4 now 5. Do I got a 500? I got 4 now 5. 4 now 5. 5 now 6. I got 500 here now 6. Do I got a $600 bid? One more time. I got 5 now 6. 600. $1,000. Oh, 550. You sure you don't want to go 10? Oh, come on. I got 550 now 6. 550 now 6. Do I got a 6? Anybody go 600? 600. 600 once. 600 twice. Oh, 600 now. I got 5. I got 600 here. Now 7. 6 now 7. 650. One more time. She's getting weak over here, young lady. 650. Do I got 650? Anybody go 650? 650 now 700. She's getting tired. Really is. And 700. How about 700? Anybody go 700? Once. 700 twice. She's getting tired. 700. Third and last call. Sold your way for $650. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Rocky will be out in the lobby. He wants to shake everybody's hand. He wants to meet every one of you. He wants to sign autographs. We don't want you to run off. Go out there, enjoy each other, and we want everybody, before you run off, there is something something I got to say. This would not have happened without the Marine Corps League down here, post number 917, the Emerald Empire Detachment of Eugene. They worked hard. They helped sponsor this, and we need to give a big round of applause for their effort and everything they did. A lot of work was done behind the scenes. Brian, Vicki, I'd like you to come out. Sergeant Major, these three are the inspiration and the time behind it. I want everybody to give them a standing applaud. Say thank you. Ask them back. Have them do it again next year. One of the things that I do when I close and I'm finished, and this is the last thing you're going to hear out of me, and I want to see everybody's hand in the air, is that next year I always ask for everybody to do one thing when I leave a show. Next year, I want you to make a commitment that you'll be here next year and you will bring one gift with you. How many will commit to that? All right. Thank you. Have a good night. We enjoyed you. And congratulations, brothers and sisters. Be here. Stay out there. We want to shake your hands. And remember, our sons and daughters are over there. They're fighting every day. They need your support and they need your help. But we need to remember, at the end of the day, we need to remember, God bless America for the freedom He's given us.